Ready to go!
Alrighty YouTube, welcome to a technical tutorial today. We are talking about how to defend against the flop press. You much of a presser, Ethan?
Yeah, all the time.
You have a flop press. I've seen you finish your last super match with a flop press.
I did.
Yeah. But you're not known.
No,
flop press.
no,
But you
I'm
are
mostly top
someone susceptible. Like if I'm a flop presser and I see you set up like this, I'm licking my lips kind of thing. Like, oh, here we go. Everyone thinks that the flop press is the perfect counter to the top roll. People think that there isn't a top roll counter to the flop press. Well, today we're going to change your opinions of that. You don't have to be an inside puller to counter the flop press. You can counter them perfectly as an outside puller. And Ethan's a great model for that because he's got long arms, long hands, and he's a top roller. He's a low hand top roller. So if I'm going to come at him, like I said, if he sets up low hand top roll, it normally suggests access straight away to the flop press. And a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that you have to defend a flop press with your bicep. Because at the end of the day, let's talk about what the flop press is first of all trying to achieve. They are all about shoulder line. So they will give up their wrist to secure shoulder line. From here, down pressure gets onto the bicep. Now, if the top roller simply responds with bicep, the flop press is going to win. Given that this is their ace and they've isolated that. They've made it not about hand, they've isolated the bicep. That's what the flop presser is trying to achieve. And like I said, I hear it all too often that there is no top roll counter to the flop press. So there's actually a few of them. And when you choose to pull the trigger on it, will change the way the match goes. Now, first thing to do is, if you know your opponent is a flop presser, is to not allow them to win center. Like Ethan's doing it straight away. He already knows what's going on. Winning center against the flop presser will scare them off it. Now, often a flop presser is stronger than you in the battle for center because that's their ace. They are a shoulder-driven, chest-contracting style beast. So winning center against a flop presser is not an easy task, but if you win height on the knuckles first and foremost, so you go nice and high and post for me, Ethan, this equalizes your chance. If you can win the knuckles, you now have a chance to be outside their hand. Now, often a flop presser will feel you doing that and let you have it because they're like, okay, I'm going to dump my wrist anyway and I'm going to get in here like so. But if you're not scared of the flop presser, if you be brave and you post up high like that, the worst thing you can do is actually top roll. If you top roll from here, Ethan, you give me straight away access to what I want. You're not going to top roll. You're going to be brave, you're going to cup your wrist, and you are going to stay outside the flopper's hand, and you are going to press the presser. Okay, so as he comes forward, you just come from that position of height, and you cup, you get your shoulder behind, and you take him away. He'll never even get access to it. Perfect execution of that. Look up the 2016 WAL Finals, Travis Bagent v Jerry Caderet. Jerry Caderet, for years, had the winning record over Travis. I think he still leads like 10-3 or something over Travis. But Travis finally worked it out, and he used it doing this. And Travis beat him twice. So to watch it again, I go to flop, and the tall top roller with knuckles up, back pressure, engages with wrist, drives their shoulder, and presses outside of my wrist. He doesn't want to come inside my wrist. That's going to be a hook on hook, and it's probably going to favor the presser. He's probably going to have more inside power. So really critical that you stay outside the hand and wrist. All right, that's counter number one. That's the quickest, easiest way to make the match done and dusted. You'll just disengage them. You'll feel really good about yourself, and the presser's going to be all destroyed. Okay, the next one is if you're not brave. If you're too scared to commit your own shoulder and fight the center, like Ethan just demonstrated, and you find yourself instinctively hitting a top roll, even though you know that's what the flopper wants. So Ethan is going to hit the top roll. To remind you what not to do again, hit the top roll, Ethan, and respond with your bicep. Okay, presser's going to go through you. Okay, but what we are going to do, hit with the top roll, is we are going to respond with our hand. You are going to defend from here up. Okay, bicep is really irrelevant. What you are trying to do to a flop presser. Now, again, some more context. People think that flop pressers don't use their hand. Yes, they let go of their wrist, but trust me, they want to keep their rotation. Now, what it looks like, this is me keeping my rotation, this is me having lost my rotation. A flop presser, to finish you, needs to keep more of their rotation. The more you take their rotation away from them, the less finishing force they have, and they're only going to be able to defend. So, in slow motion, when I flop, Ethan hits the top roll. Ethan right now is not lifting. He is focusing on thumb-driven cupping. You can see him twisting my palm up and under. Now, if it's right down, let's say I've really hit and I'm right down here, Ethan needs to, again, not lift, but try to come toward me. You can see him making his forearm vertical. That allows him to start twisting my hand and wrist again. Okay, so it's like an excavator coming forward, elbow goes forward, hand twists, thumb drives down, and you will be able to sit an inch from defeat. And it gets very uncomfortable for the flopper. If they're in straps, they're going to have more power than out of straps, of course. Most flop pressing is going to be done in the straps. Ready to go. Flopper's on, and he's driving hard, and he's so close. Right here, Ethan doesn't want to lift. If he gets stuck lifting, I win. He's trying to focus on my palm. There he goes, there's my palm on it. Now I'm defending. Now Ethan, we'll talk about this, the final chapter now of how to finish the flop presser. If Ethan tries to top roll me, my side pressure is going to be too strong for his bicep. He's going to bleed, I'm going to win. So again, no side pressure. Do not attack with a traditional shaped top roll from here. This is what Matt Mask kind of did against Todd Hutchins, and Todd Hutchins, despite his wrist being back, still was able to drive through. Remember that flop pressers are usually great hookers, have great side pressure, regardless of where their hand is. So once Ethan has saved the loss, he's reversed it over here, the flop presser is now defending, they've still got their shoulder in, their palm is now up. Your pin route, like I said, is not to go in that direction of a top roll. You are going to either, you can see as Ethan is doing here, he's transitioning his body to be able to press the presser again. You can press the presser as long as you are outside their hand and wrist, with force if you want. But if there is, so demonstrate that for me. Okay, press like that. But if there is significant side pressure, Ethan is not going to have that ability to transition from the top roll position into a finishing and forceful press. So what he's going to do now is start to, again, like an excavator, drag and twist, and he's going to take away my ability to relax. As I look for space to hide, he's going to go straight down, not out in like a traditional top roll shape. So straight down, thumb, twisting, excavator-like movement, regrips. If he can't get the finish, he's gonna bring his elbow forward, climb, regrip, climb with the hands, that's it. And the deeper his cup gets, the more my wrist twists. Okay, so this is ultimately a hand-based counter for a top roller against a flop presser. Did I miss anything, Daniel?
Don't think so.
Yeah. So when you, again, the biggest point that I see people get wrong is they think down here that you have to just have amazing back pressure and you have to have amazing bicep strength. You don't. You need to twist and come at your opponent with your hand. Now the more vertical, remember the more vertical his forearm, the less biomechanically possible it is for me, the flop presser. Remember, I'm trying to go down. Right now, for me to go down, I have to somehow compress his radius and ulnar. The muscular effort from Ethan to stop me from going down is very negligible because his bone is doing all the work for him. and he's just taking control of the twist. Anyway, there we go. Flop wrestling. There we go. Can't do it. Ethan wins. Hope you enjoyed that one, guys. Share that with someone who struggles against flop presses. And if you're a flop presser, sorry for ruining all your future matches.
Yes, that's a bet!